Well, we begin with legislation designed to ease the burden of having to buy flood insurance for some people. As you're probably aware, FEMA is redrawing flood maps, and that means thousands of properties across our region that didn't used to be in high-risk flood zones are slated to be. Anyone in a high-risk area with a federally backed mortgage would have to buy insurance. The legislation that passed the U.S. House of Representatives gives people 5 years before they have to buy it, so they have time to appeal the new designations. People can also phase in the full amount they have to pay for flood insurance over 5 years. Also, families at or below 200% of the poverty level can split up annual payments. Congressman Michael Arcuri has that the bill would create an advocate office under FEMA.
It will be out there to help individuals with the appeal process, help individuals file claims if need be. Basically a person out there working with individuals who are now thrown into this whole new sort of realm of flood insurance that they never had to do before.
The burden to prove a home or business is not in a flood area is on the owner. While people can appeal, it can cost money to do that, especially to get a technical study with actual technical proof why your property wouldn't be flooded. That's the situation the village of Whitney Point is in. Since the levee system there was built 60 years ago, the village hasn't been impacted by flooding. Well, now FEMA is saying that the levee may not be sufficient, and so 127 out of about 400 properties in the village are slated to be in a flood zone. In order to prove the levee is okay, like the village believes, it would cost about $200,000 to get a geotechnical study done. Whitney Point Mayor Gerald Whitehead.
Well, it's a lot of money, that's for sure. There's a lot of issues there that are kind of wrapped into one. We're not even sure that we can borrow the $200,000 if we wanted to do the study because we don't own the levees, we don't maintain them, and it's hard to borrow money at taxpayers' expense for something you don't own or control. So we have our attorney looking into that to see if it's even legal to do that. Secondly, we did sign the PAL agreement, the provisionally accredited levy agreement, that does give us 2 years to go through the 19 steps that FEMA requires to get that levy accredited. That doesn't commit us to spending any money, it just says we're going to look into it and we can't finalize those maps for 2 years until we decide if we're going to go ahead and do it or not.
Whitehead also says he'll be meeting with Congressman Arcuri's staff to see if possible funding is available to do the expensive study.